So the whole model, if you like, right from an engaging environment to an irresistible environment to an engaging presentation to prioritizing your kids and youth to gaining training and retaining your volunteers, the whole model is aimed at, funneled down towards this final one. Because if you came to my church, it would almost like be job done if I could get you from a row into a circle, if I could get you into a small group. So our fifth strategic priority is we move people from Sunday rows to midweek groups. And I'm a preacher. I love Sunday rows. I don't ever want to be part of a church that doesn't gather people physically, Lord willing, one day again, and doesn't have a sat on rows, because there's nothing more joyous than throwing your hands up in worship. We call it corporate worship. How do you worship corporately on Zoom? It's just really hard to do, So I love that, the whole row, the whole Sunday thing. But actually, circles are better than rows when it comes to life change. Being in a small circle of friends who want to pray for you and feed into you and encourage you on the journey. It's much better for you to change your life in a circle than it is in a row. And life is better connected. When Jesus came, I think it's Mark chapter 3, I love it, when Jesus came and he chose his 12 disciples, which was revolutionary. No rabbi ever chose a disciple. You just chose whether you wanted to be connected. And Jesus came along and went, I don't want you, I don't want you, I want you, and I want you. What, me? Yeah. And he chose these disciples to walk with him. And it says in Mark 3, the first reason he chose them was that they might be with him. And if Jesus needed community, and friendship and connection, then how much more does Rachel Roberts and Duncan Banks need that as well? We've just discovered in all of our churches, if we're going to grow people up spiritually, we have to connect them relationally. Listen, if you're listening to this or watching this and you've got a pen, write that down, because that's gold dust. If you want to grow your people up spiritually, you have to connect them relationally in a proper connected relationship. And here's why, Rachel. It's so easy for us to stumble out of church, isn't it? Especially during COVID. I've got other things to do on a Sunday now. I've got out of the habit. It's easy to stumble out of church. It's even easy to stumble out of your belief in God. There's a program you saw on the History Channel, or a lecturer has told you that God doesn't really exist, and you can stumble out of your belief in God. As Christians, it's even easy to stumble out of our relationship with God. We've got out of the habit of the spiritual disciplines. But I think it's virtually impossible to stumble out of community and friendship. If you and I were in a group where we were doing life on a regular basis, I might be drifting in my faith, I might be drifting away from church, but I'm never going to drift away from our relationship,